Right. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to the voice Datathon. So in this presentation, I'm going to be walking you through the tool that you'll be using for recording. And to believe the file was shared with you for the tool that we're going to use. If not, we shall share it after this meeting. Okay. So the tool that we are going to be using is called the Audacity application. It's a free and open source application that you can use that you can download on either your Windows operating system or your Mac operating system or your Linux operating system. It's basically a Linux native tool. It's quite powerful, and it's also used in the industry really by different individuals. Okay, so here you just go to the audacityteam.org to download the file. You can download this. You can download this using this thing called the Muse Hub, or you can just directly download the application itself. Really. So if you download it, it's like 46 MB. It will download the installer. So this installer is via the Muse Hub, but you can go through this route, but I mean I don't recommend this anyway. But it's fine if you're that person who is concerned about downloading a lot of things on your machine. You would want to go for the specific version for your OS. So if you go and download here, like this installer I got is the installer via the Muse Hub, but on the same Audacity platform, you can just click on the Windows. If you're using Windows like me here, and then get the 64-bit. You also have the checksum here for you to check the validity of this thing, and then it will download the 64-bit version, just 17 MB in size. All right. So once that file is downloaded, you will install it. So you get an installer set up something like this here. So it's 4-bit version. You just click on that from your downloads folder, accept the installation on your machine, and then it will walk you through the initial basic setup. So you click OK, and the usual on Windows, next, next, next. You will just confirm where it's installing this thing. So it's installing this in program files. Make sure you have permissions where it's being installed. If you face any issues, you do next and then create a desktop shortcut. If you want to do that, you do next. And then it's going to give you the summary of the destination where it's going to install this application. So in this case, it's going to install it in program files and also a shortcut with desktop. And then you do next. So I've already installed this, so I'm not going to do this. I'll cancel it. Cancel it here. From there, you just search for Audacity. From your search bar, it follow me from your Windows prompt here, or your if you have a different type of prompt depending on the operating system that you're using. But in this case, you're going to open Audacity like so. You wait for it to load. When it opens, it looks like this. Yeah. Okay. So initially, it starts blank. You can do a lot of things in Audacity, depending on your the type of work that you are doing. But primarily, we want to just do audio recording and following the guidelines given by Mr. Clayton. We want good quality audio, so Audacity can give you that. For example, if you are just recording this from a place where it's noisy, when you do the recording, you can use some filters in Audacity to select the different parts that are noisy, clean them up, and then as you export your audio files, they are of good quality. So I'll be going through the same file for the initial steps that you need to go through. So the first step that we want you to do is to ensure that you set up your Audacity for this project. So when it opens like so, there's this big button here uh, with a volume icon and the text saying audio setup from the ribbon. So you just click on that and then you go to audio settings. So you can also find this configuration from the file in the top left corner, sorry. And then you go, pardon me, edit, and then you go preferences. Okay. You just wait for that thing to open. I've got a lot of things open here, but it will open. Okay. So you get preferences, and then under audio here, this is the same functionality that you find. So here you can sort of configure everything that you want to configure in your Audacity settings. But for the purposes of what we're doing, we go on audio settings. Then here we want you to configure uh, three crucial settings. Mr. Clayton will also maybe just validate if I miss something here. But what we want you to configure, if you want to test if you have got headphones for recording, for example, you are going to have this playback configuration. It will ask you which playback device do you want to test the audio as you are recording in terms of the sound of the audio. If you record something and then you play it, which device should it use to play that thing? Okay, so in this case, depending on what you hooked up, the peripheral devices you hooked up to your machine, it will list them here. In my case, I've got these headphones which I'm using, the Oraimo headphones. So these are the ones that I'm selecting for audio output. So meaning if I play something from here, it will play them in these headphones, and then I can see if the audio that I'm recording is of good quality. Then there's also what we call the recording configuration. So here you select which device you want to use to record the audio. So in this case, I again choose the Oraimo in my case. It has a bad microphone, but in this case, for example, I choose it. But if one of the participants, I'll choose, of course, one of the good microphones that I've hooked up to my machine. In this case, I'll say I want to use the microphone that comes with this device. Okay. Then on the channels here, we want you to choose stereo.
Okay,
Isn't here,
so
Mr. Clayton?
it's mono. Let we choose mono there.
Okay, so here we want you to configure
Yeah,
mono.
yeah.
Mono, I believe mono implies we're using, is it one speaker or two of
It
them?
means single channel voice or speech outlet. So it's more from the speech processing. So the expectation that we just want a single channel for speech processing. So I think that's the expectation.
Oh, right, right. So
Yeah,
if in the guide, if the in the guide that I'll share, if we have stereo there, I think before I share it, we'll change it to mono. But
yeah.
in the event that there's still that configuration, you want to choose mono here. Then for the also just confirm on the sample rate output, we want you to configure this to 4400 Hz. So both
So I think that should be 16. All of that should be changed to 16,000.
16,000. Yes, thank you. I think even
Yeah,
in the manual, yeah, in the manual we specified that you change this to 16,000 Hz. Okay,
yeah.
so this is needed for the purposes of um, the next step of what you are helping us to do here, the participants, in terms of the NLP that will be using to create these data sets. Really, so I believe the input for the AI models expect something similar to this. Okay, and then the default sample rate. In this case, for the sample rate, it's okay to leave it at X2. Just confirm that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That we can leave it like that. It's all others we can leave them.
All right, right. So when you configure this here, we want you to click OK. Then once you do that, we want you to save this project immediately. So you save the configuration that you've done. So for this one, you go to File, and then you click on Save Project, and then you do Save Project As. Okay. So here it will open a location. This Audacity location, it should be in Documents, I believe. Documents, Audacity, and then you give this project a name. So this project is configured in a .aup3 extension. Okay, so in this case, I can call it the voice Datathon or something like that. Okay, and then I can save this project. So this is in the event I close this, in the event I close this, at least when I open that project from that location, documents, Audacity, I'll find the work that I was doing here. Because you're going to be recording over, let's say, 20 sentences, you don't want to record. me to record about 10, and then you close the project or your laptop goes off, and then you restart that. It's quite frustrating. Okay, so once you save the project, it will also give you the name on the top left corner there saying the voice datathon. Then you go to the second step, which is the recording itself. So on the recording, to start the recording, you click on this red button here, or use the shortcut R, that is capital R, to start the recording. So it will be recording in this case what I'm saying right now. But this first row of the recording signifies the sentence that you are recording. So if I'm recording sentence one, for example, then this will be sentence one. Then when I'm done recording sentence one, what I'll do is I'll click this black button here to say stop. Okay. When I click the back button to say stop, I will move the cursor to the first line. So this is very crucial. So you say stop, the black button. So to move the cursor it's this thing which was counting on the timeline here. Because if I start another recording, for example, to start another recording, I need to do Shift R to start the recording. So it will be recording. Let me just stop that thing. Okay. So if I start another recording, I'll do Shift R. But in my case, I had clicked the home button on the keyboard, so it moved this counter to start from the initial 0. If not, if I drag this thing, I don't know if you can see my cursor down here to see where this is going, because I can minimize this. For example, if I go on view, zoom, and then I say zoom out. Let's say I want a nice view to see how long my sentence or where my sentence is ending. This second recording initially would begin somewhere here. Okay, but if you do home button, then it moves the cursor back and the recording begins on the initial timeline 0 for the for audio 2, which represents sentence 2. So these audio rows that you are seeing here, if you click on it, it is representing your sentence. So audio 1 is the first sentence, audio 2 is the second sentence. To record the third sentence, I will do again Shift R to start the recording. Okay, I can stop that, and then I begin the recording for, in this case, what I'm saying right now. But this first, pardon me, I don't know if you can hear that, but I'll stop this and then just click on the delete button on the keyboard to remove that. But essentially each audio row is your sentence. So in the recording guide, these steps are quite clear on how you record them. So essentially this is what you need to do. So assuming I have audio 1, 2, 3, for the purposes of me knowing what I've recorded, I will want to name these audio rows or audio records according to the sentence name. So in this case, in the guide, we've also indicated how you need to do this to make sure that you know what you have recorded. So on audio 1, there's these 3 dots on the top right corner of this initial box here. So if you click on this, there's rename track, and then you can rename the track and maybe say sentence 1. There's a you can give it a naming convention that is easier to understand. So let's say
Okay,
sentence 1.
sorry, Patrick. I just want to come in just here. So in every Excel sheet that is shared, there's a sentence. There's a column for sentences or text, and then there's a column for audio name. So um, each particular sentence has as a corresponding name in terms of how it should be named. So I think from what I can recall, let me just check quickly. Okay, but yeah, but in terms of the point is that the name that you should give it, it should correspond to the name of the audio file that is in the spreadsheet.
All right, thanks. So for the
Yeah,
sentences,
but you
for
can give an
example, if I
example. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, yes. So in the event here, you click on the 3 dots there. You say rename, and then you give it the audio name with respect to the audio name in the Excel file for the sentence that you are recording at particular time. Maybe just something that I need to mention here. If I do Shift R, um, it begins recording the, in this case, for example, the fourth sentence. But it will start when it begins recording. It will start moving the cursor along this bar here, implying that it will be playing these audios. So you'll be getting a conflict. So what you need to do is you just click on this mute button here. You mute the sentences. When you mute the sentences, and then you do Shift R, and then you begin to record the third sentence. Okay. So let me just let me do undo that one. Okay, and then do the home button. Okay, and then do Shift. Okay, so you begin your recording like that. So here you can even take your time. You even breathe, for example. You let it count. But you take note of the time. For example, I'm seeing this count. When it reaches 15, that's when maybe I'll start talking. And then maybe I start talking. Oh, hello. Um, this is a testing audio recording. Okay, and it is done. When it is done, I'll do stop. Now, may I know that I started recording at 15. So I'll come here, for example, I can even drag this, highlight it. So I'll put my cursor on the row, and then I drag it up to the way end there, and then I click on the delete, for example. So I've cut off that thing. If there was noise, for example, here, I've muted everything. Let me play this, and then maybe I start talking. Oh, hello. So I've just played that. And then I noticed that there is noise here, for example. Maybe my young sister or brother came talking in the background. I want to remove that. So you can just highlight. So you can use your cursor to highlight and then go maybe to effects here. And then under effects, you find different things, maybe distortion modulation, noise removal and repair. So let's say I click on removal or repair or noise reduction. If I do that, it will give me some menu to say at what rate do you want to reduce this. Okay, I believe people here are technical who've joined read, and most of them are computer science students. So you know what this decibels, this unit is dB and whatnot, and what they do. Maybe they have sensitivity, the frequency, the whatnot. In short, you're trying to configure this noise, but usually the default is just fine, really. So you can configure whatever you want here for the noise that you want to apply. After you do your configurations, and then you just apply that. And you can also check up more on this. Remember, that's why you are winning money here. I mean, you have to also understand what you're using, but we're giving you the basics. So basically just that when I'm sure that this sentence is fine, I want to export my sentences now, I will mute all the other sentences. Or if I want, let's say they are not muted, they are like this, and I want to export, let's say sentence one, meaning you are done now. Let's say these are your 25 sentences. When you are done, for you to export the sentence, I'll click on this sentence name like this. So it highlights this sentence that I want to say. It's okay, I've played it, I've confirmed that the audio is fine. When you click on it like that, you will then go to File, and then you will go to Export Audio. Here, you click on Export Audio, it will give you this window. So this window essentially it will just give you the file name. In this case, the file name, the folder where it's going to sit when you save this thing you are exporting, and also the format. So we want to use the waveform audio format, the WAV format. Please ensure that it's waveform. These settings were already configured, the channels, the sample rate, and also the encoding. Okay. Um, yeah, and also the encoding. So you just confirm that what is here is what you want. But if you didn't do that initial step, you want maybe here you find it's already stereo. Here you find it's 44 100, the default sample rate. So you want to change that to 16, and also you change this back to mono, and you follow the guidelines of what is in the Excel file for the sentence that you are recording, and you give it that name, and make sure the extension is .wav as well. So let's say I'll say voice Datathon 1 as example as my sentence 1, and I want to maybe me, I'm more organized. I'll open my location in Audacity and then I'll do new folder. And then maybe I'll say, maybe let's say Lozi, sentences. Sentences. Is this how it's called sentences? I'm not sure. But yeah, Lozi sentences, you open that thing and then you save in there as my first audio. So I know that it's going to sit in that location. Then I click export. So what I've just done here, I've not exported the entire project. I've exported just that sentence, and that's what we want you to do. So you export, let's say, for Lozi or Bemba, you export all the sentences into that designated folder. In the end, you follow the instructions that you'll be given on how you are going to submit that. If you're going to zip it and then submit it on some Google Drive or something like that. But if I go to my documents, for example, and then I go to Audacity, I go to my folder that I created, I should find this .wav file. And I can test that it's just fine. For example, if you want to confirm before you zip all your files here, maybe let's say I play it with start the recording. So it will be recording in this case what I'm saying right now. But this, yeah. So I'm not sure if you're able to hear that, but it was playing anyway, and very good quality, I must say. So like that, then you are done. So if you confirm that what you've done a very good work, then you follow the instructions to share the final folder. Okay, so if this is my folder, for example, if I were you, what I would do maybe is I'd go back to my documents here, Audacity. I have saved them in Lozi sentences. So assuming this is my overall folder, I'll right click on this thing because WAV form gives us good quality but results in large file sizes. And then I'll go to WinRAR and then let's say I'll say add this to archive, for example. Depending on the tool that you are using. Okay, maybe I'll just say zip format, or if you're encrypting, and then I'll just say maybe okay. So it creates this zip file for all the sentences, and maybe I submit this as my submission using whichever format you're using to represent what
Yeah.
you've done. I think this is done, and thank you. I don't know if there are any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. I think that was quick and precise, and I think it's one way straight in terms of the whole process from recording to actual submission. I think maybe some other details in that people could have missed. We are going to make some changes to the document. And also, I think we'll share the updated document maybe shortly. But yeah, pretty much that is the process. Now, are there any questions before we close off? I think we have a few minutes to a close. One or two rapid questions that we can respond to relating to the submissions and the process. But otherwise, a document is going to be shared that will have all information that was shared in this particular session by Patrick. But just in case there's any need of clarification, you can shoot and then we'll be able to address that question. We only have a few minutes to do this.